right, today I thought I would introduce you all to our wash pack station. We've had lots of requests to see it, and just talk about some basics of wash pack stations. As always, I do not have a monopoly on all the good ideas or good experience. So if you have if you want to comment on something or add something, that's great. Please leave it in the comment section so people can go back and read it as they go through this series. There's a lot to say about a wash pack station, so let's do it. All right, so we'll start outside. I want to show you the building that we're using for our wash pack in general. I think it's like, I want to say 30 by 40. It's a pretty great building. It was here when we got here. We didn't have to build this, so it's partially insulated. We have our cooler and stuff in here. It's a great building. It's got cement floors. We just happen to have this nice garage, so we're able to use that. However, you do not need a nice building with cement floors and all that stuff to have a wash pack. We built one at our old cabin that was a totally off-grid wash pack with just cedar posts, a tin roof. We just kind of lumber framed it together with some 2x4s, and it worked fine. So that's an option too. You don't need a lot to do a wash pack station, right? So let me talk a little bit about what the outside is. We have this is our carrot beet station. So we wash our carrots and beets. Sheep are over there, hi sheep. Carrots and beets get washed here. The sheep are fenced out of the wash pack area, just in case anybody's curious about that. Then we have a shelf here with all of our totes, which we wash, both sides of, flip them over, wash the other side, and then dry them, and then we'll stack them. That is an important thing, just to have this area to be able to come, keep stuff off the ground, keep a nice area that doesn't get muddy. We could put gravel down here, but I like this tarp because we use tarps in the garden, and this is just a nice second life for them. So we'll just layer this on here, and it's a good weed suppressant, and then the sheep mow around it. So that's the basic, and these are just, let me show you detail here. Nothing complex. It's stacks of cinder blocks, 2x4s, great. There's like some hardware cloth on this one, but then we'll wash our carrots on there. With the carrot washing system, we have some some rain jackets, but also some Grundens. These are just like, I don't know if you can see those that well. These are just like heavy duty rain gear, essentially. Like those. If you're gonna work in like a fish slaughterhouse, which I don't think is the right term for it, you'd probably have a pair of those or a really nice version of that. Depending on what time of year it is, we'll line stuff up here, and it'll just get washed, and it'll come down this line and then into the wash pack station. So it's pretty simple. I mean, it's kind of rustic, but it works. So then when you come inside, we do everything, nothing goes on the ground, right? These pallets are here so that whenever anything comes in, it goes right on top of one of these pallets. That's very first thing. So the other thing we do is that we wash a lot of greens. We do about, I don't know, we're not doing a crazy amount of lettuce, but we're doing increasing amount of greens. So we're doing about 40 pounds of lettuce a week or more. And we don't have a bubbler or anything like that yet. We've talked about it, but I like our system because we use those two blue buckets. We fill them up, we wash, we easily dump them out into our drain. It's no big deal. This is actually just a folding table. They're super strong, so we can stick 3 of these tubs on here without an issue. And that's super easy to move for when we need to clean. And those are just like $30 tables. We have a few of those, and we stack them all the way around. You all should know that this isn't like a perfectly curated video. That's like all the stuff from when we moved, and we haven't unpacked it in 2 years. Anyway, we usually put a table right there too, and then maybe we'll have another table here depending on what we have, but that's not very exciting. Anyway, wash, we'll have a rinse, we'll have a spin. We do, yeah, like I said, we're probably doing about 40 pounds of lettuce right now, so we'll do lettuce here. We used to do all of our lettuce in that thing. Invest in this. This is gonna cost you roughly the same amount of money. This is great. So this actually gets your greens pretty dry. We have it on a 2-minute spin cycle. I did not build this. Our interns last year built it, which is super cool. We do everything really, we make sure that sanitation is paramount. We always have isopropyl alcohol that we will hit those bins with, even though they've been sitting out in the sun sanitizing. We will also hit them with a little isopropyl alcohol before we put any greens in them. Our water is city water. If you don't have city water, that is a big consideration for a wash pack, that you need to have some sort of dedicated water source that's clean. Sanitation is important. You do not want to make anybody sick. Absolutely not. So think about that. Think about what you're gonna, and there are sanitation tablets, and you need to get your water checked if you're using well water or something. That's just important, and that's gonna be increasingly important with FSMA, Food Safety Modernization Act, and GAP certification being more prevalent. We're not GAP certified, so this isn't a GAP station. They probably would not certify this, although I've heard there's a certifier around who does certify these, GAP. So maybe ask around, ask about different certifiers. Yeah, once it's spin dry, we go here, we have a scale. This is our, that's not the scale, that's the scale. The scale is just a, whatever this is, just one of your classic like certified scales that you have to have for market. We have that, and we also bring it to market with us. Then we have all of our containers and bags and stuff, and some berry boxes, all right here. So it's pretty simple, and that's, you know, wash, rinse, whatever it is. You know, if it's just going straight into the cooler, it goes straight into the cooler. But if we have to wash, rinse, pack, there goes into coolers that then go into our cooler, which I have turned off. The CoolBot. This is an 8,000 BTU air conditioner. It doesn't work very well. Our buddy David Ladner just gave us a 12,000 BTU conditioner that we're gonna put in its stead. Now, if you don't have a really great air conditioner, it's not a big deal, but you're probably gonna wanna use some coolers to put inside of your cooler, which is what we do. And see, I don't have a light in here, so it's kind of hard to see. This is actually not gonna stay our cooler. I want to turn this into the podcast studio and then build a separate cooler where all that junk was. We have everything on pallets up off the ground. Coolers, those are all going to market. Like I said, the CoolBot is off right now, but seeds are all in here. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of it. It's like an 8x8 room, and fully insulated, top, bottom, sides, floor. It works pretty well. It could be better, but it does the job. If you don't have that, you can use ice packs in coolers. We did that for years. When we were off grid, we borrowed a neighbor's freezer and froze ice packs and used those in our coolers, and that's how we got stuff to market. Now, your longevity is going to be way better in this situation than it will in that situation, but you can work up to it. You can bootstrap to that point, right? We do keep some cedar stuff in here. There's our Jang stuff and the Earthway. The Jang is actually down in the lower barn, just because I haven't found a good place to put it. I want to hang it on the wall, but I haven't done that yet. So it will eventually go up here because our seeds are in the cooler. So it just makes sense to have all of our seeding stuff here and our harvesting stuff. I have pruners there, knives here with a sanitizer bottle. Always hit our knives with sanitizer. That's isopropyl alcohol. And the quick cut greens harvesters right there. We don't do a lot of baby greens, but we do a fair amount of arugula, and I'm always happy to have this around. I'm trying to use it more, so yeah, so that we can make the most of it. All this scribble is my board. I kind of feel like it's like the inside of, this is what the inside of my brain looks like. Really that, but also this, but mostly that. And then, so yeah, I don't have like a great system for this. It's mostly just like a board of lists. Super unorganized. I kind of like it that way. But, you know, it has what's going in the CSA, and then it has what we're doing that week, all of my starts, or all of my projects go here, any seeds and stuff I need to order, all of our harvest market stuff, all of our market checklist is right here. I was just redoing it, so there may be some missing stuff there, but that's like our harvest checklist. That's super important. It is so much fun to get to market and realize you didn't bring tables. It's a hoot. Also, there's this rack that Hannah has kind of come up with as we do all delivery on our CSA. I can talk about that sometime if you want. But we home deliver our CSA. So we hang all the bags, all these little rough draft bags we print ourselves. Get closer to that. So we hang all these rough draft farmstead bags, know your pharmacist bags that we make. Hannah hand makes those. Maybe I'll do a video on that sometime, but we hang them on this like clothing rack, and it wheels around so it moves. So we can wheel it in and out of the cooler, and we just load it up, put it in the cooler. When we're ready to go, we bring it out of the cooler, load it into the truck, and we're on our way. So these racks are not super sturdy, but we only do 20 deliveries at a time because that takes about 3 to 4 hours depending on where you're delivering. And yeah, that's kind of a great system though. I really think that works out well. She just hangs them on hangers, like kind of sturdy hangers. So anyway, that's kind of our wash pack. I hope there's something insightful in there. I admit it's beer 30, so I'm kind of itching to get to beer 30. It's maybe beer 45 at this point. Anyway, happy to do this, you all. But I also appreciate your comments, your advice, your experience. Make sure to leave it down below if you have anything that people should think about or anything you saw here that you think you have questions about, or if you think we could do it better, which we could. We are considering a bubbler. I want something that would fit in these little blue barrels because I like that system. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. Bubbler would be good for the mulch issue we have in our no-till gardens with it getting into the lettuce. Other than that, you all, like this video if you like this video. Make sure to leave a comment, your experience. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Big stuff going on in the podcast. Check that out. The No-Till Market Garden Podcast. I hear it's awesome. It's got like some ratings. Probably. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye. You hungry?